Happy Flossmas, my stitchy friends. This is Laura from Stitching by the Shore. This is a channel all about cross stitch with some paper crafting thrown in too. I thought I would come back and stitch. Well, we are going to stitch, but I thought I'd come back and do another Flossmas video and have some holiday fun. And I thought today we would do a little stitching together. So I have a piece that I'm going to work on, and hopefully you will join me and do some stitching too. So the piece I'm going to work on is my monochromatic piece, and it is Summer Quaker from Jardin Prive. Here are all four if you were interested in seeing them. I finished spring. I am currently working on summer. I have the autumn one, and then the winter one will not come out until December 21st. So you know I will be on top of that as soon as it comes out. It's cute. I can already see what it's going to look like. I've been stitching these. I had to stop and think for a minute. They've all been stitched in 823 DMC right there. And then I use a different color fabric for each one. I think I have my autumn one figured out, and then we'll see for the winter. And then they'll all have the same floss. I was thinking actually going forward for next year, as I work out my plans, and I do want to hopefully have a planning video at some point during this Flossmas as well. Loose plans, you know that. But I was thinking maybe I like how many people happen to do certain pieces during certain seasons. My favorite is Janet Javer because her queens, her Mira queens, are so beautiful. But she's not the only one that does that. There are others that will do that. I know Carolyn from Zizuk Stitch has a piece that she will be doing seasonally. So whichever season it is, that's when she'll work on that part of a piece. But I thought maybe I would take these. Now, spring is done, but there's no reason why winter, because I'll have winter after, with the start of the new year. Winter, summer, and autumn can't be done that way. We'll see. I like doing my monochromatics when I'm traveling and in the car and such, so I don't know what I'd do in the spring. That would be my only thing, but I thought that might be fun to do that as well. So that might be something I do going forward. Here I am. I'm there's the needle in there and everything. This is where I am at the moment. This is an 18 count Aida, as you would probably guess, and it is called My Sunshine from Bestitchme. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. And that was a fabric of the month, I think, if I remember correctly, but I'm almost sure most of her fabric of the months, you can indeed still get them on her website if you wanted to order. I have my Ben Q light here. I'm not putting it on though, because that would be very bright. I do have the lights on in here though today, because as you can tell, there's not a lot of sunshine coming in the windows over there. It's an overcast, kind of gloomy sort of day out there. It was a rainy, yucky day yesterday, and I think we might be getting more storms today. So it's not super cold, but it is dreary and kind of gray. And then on my Ben Q, which is great because it's magnetic, I can put a needle minder with some needles and then scissors and all that. I kind of have it all right there. And I do have a cup of peppermint tea here today. I do like my tea, so I might stop and take a sip every once in a while. I am going to put the camera down so you can see more of my stitching. It doesn't matter if we chop my head off. Because it's the stitching, right? We're here to stitch together so much as anything else. And I thought what would be fun was I had found I looked at different lists. I'm like, well, what am I going to talk about if I do a stitch with me? And I thought, well, the holidays would be kind of fun, this time of year and so on and so forth. I do celebrate Christmas. That's the holiday that myself and my family celebrate. So that's the one I know the most about. And I just thought, okay, what would be kind of fun? And I found this list, and it's a holiday this or that. So it would ask you to choose between two different things, and which one would you prefer? So I thought that might be fun. Of course, I was reading through it, and now I want all of my stitchy friends to tell me the answers to their this or that's, because it's a lot of fun to hear what other people might say. So we'll answer some of these, and I will stitch, and we'll chat for a little bit, and then I will get you on to somebody else so that you can see what's going on in their stitchy world. Alrighty, so let me, you know what, I was just at the end of a thread. I didn't time that very well, so I'm going to when I finish off my threads, I do run them behind threads that are already done, stitches already done. So I will do that. I will just run it behind a few stitches and get myself, I threaded a couple different needles so that I would have them ready to go. So I am going to snip this off and grab another needle. And I might have to thread with you as well, depending on how long we chat. But I figured if I have a couple needles ready to go, it won't be too bad. Let me take a sip of my tea. I drink flavors all year round. So peppermint, I just like peppermint in general. So I will drink that year round, not just at Christmas. Okay, and I don't know, that could be a question on here somewhere. We'll find out together. I did look these over just to kind of give me a sort of idea. I mean, they're easy questions. It's not anything. It would be a good like answer off the top of your head. But as I was going through, I have caveats with some of them. It depends on what you're talking about. So we'll see if you agree with some of them that way. All right, so the first question, tree up before Thanksgiving or after Thanksgiving? See, right off the bat, I'm starting off waffling. For years and years and years, we put our tree up after Thanksgiving. And it was just always the way. It was usually Thanksgiving weekend. Well, that's not true. When we bought a tree, we usually had to wait a little bit, obviously. But then when we used an artificial tree, we were able to put it up and earlier. And I got to the point where I was putting it up Thanksgiving weekend because everybody was around. You know, things were a little bit quieter schedule-wise because December, when you have kids, is crazy. And then even, you know, Mo with work, they could have this or that going on at work and so on and so forth. So Thanksgiving weekend always seemed a good time to put it up, and we did. This year, I decided I wanted it up for Thanksgiving. So I took it out the weekend before just to let it sit. I'm pretty sure it was the weekend before. It was somewhere around there. And then every time I'd go by, I'd kind of fix a few branches here or there. You know how you need to fix it after it's been sitting in a box all year. And so I would do that. And then we were all set and ready. The night before Thanksgiving, we decorated it. So we had a nice little decorated tree right there. Our first floor area where the kitchen, dining room-ish, eat-in area, whatever you want to call it, and the living room are all one just big giant room. So you can see it from every place. So we did that. We got it all decorated and ready to go. So that's set. Okay. And I think I enjoyed that. I really did. So I think from here on out, I will most likely do it before Thanksgiving. I do have a tree up here, and it is a, let me just go into the next one then, real or fake tree, because that's the next, real tree or fake tree. That's the next this or that. Now it is a fake tree. When the kids were younger, and I think even before kids, I would say even before, we're going back now because Megan is 21, so it's a lot of years ago. But I want to say even before kids, we would do a real tree. And I would say about 15 years ago, we switched over to an artificial tree. I think partly, you know, I love real trees. I love the smell of them. But after a while, you know, I mean, there's always the worry about, are they too dry? Are they going to catch fire? The pine needles get everywhere and so on and so forth. And I think I read somewhere that if you keep a tree, artificial tree, long enough, you know, depending on how many years you have it, environmentally, it's not, you know, because everyone will say, well, real trees are better for the environment. But if you keep your fake tree for a certain amount of time, I think I read that. I don't know. Maybe I'm trying to make it up. But that it's better, or it's as, you know, not as bad for the environment. And we had our last tree for 15 years. We only got a new one last year because we didn't have the tree down here. And so we picked one up for down here. And then we finally got rid of that one. And I mean, that one, 15 years we had it, and the lights didn't necessarily work all that well anymore. And we just would buy some lights and string the lights on there before buying a new tree. So I felt like we got, it served a good long life of purpose, that tree, before we moved on to another one. And then up here, I have a artificial tree, and this one is all just for crafty ornaments. Not just cross stitching, but any type of crafting. And I can put it up whenever I want and keep it as long as I want. So I thought that was obviously out of necessity would be more of a artificial tree because of that. So that's my long-winded answer on that. You can tell these this or that's. I would imagine some people would just answer them like this or that. Not so much with me. There's always an explanation with all of them. All right, so next, what's the next question? Star or angel? That's a really good question. Can I make a confession here? We have nothing on the top of any of our trees. Our tree toppers are empty. I don't know why. I would not string, but I would put ornaments up to the top. Well, the one downstairs is a little taller than me. I'm short, so I don't know what's up at the top, whatever Connor could reach, unless I got a ladder. But this one up here, I do want to make something for the tree up here. And it's literally right next to me, so that's why I keep kind of looking in that direction. I have been meaning to look up kind of handcrafted tree topper ideas. So if you've made one for your top of your tree, let me know what you did, what you like, anything that you've seen. I don't sew, so remember that when we're talking about things. I can do a lot of other crafts, but that's the one that I am unable to do. So if you give a suggestion, just keep that in mind. But I would like to do something, whether it be a star or an angel. I don't know. I think they're both beautiful in their own right. So I'm going to do push on that one. I'm not actually going to answer one way or the other. All right. Snowmen or snow angels? Snow angels. I don't know what it is, but I just like making a snow angel. Now, it's so fun doing that. Getting up and trying to not mess up your snow angel after you've made it is probably near impossible now. When I was younger, maybe. But I think it's so fun to just kind of plop down on the ground, make a snow angel, and then they look cute. So I would say that. I was never a really good snowman maker. I mean, you have to have the perfect snow, I feel like. So, which is not, that isn't, there are so many types of snow and how wet and dry it is and fluffy and all that. So I can't say I ever made a really good snowman. I kind of just piled snow on top of pieces. We never did, like, I was never able to like rolls of snow. I mean, I don't know. I guess maybe I'm just not talented enough, but it's snow angel all the way for me. All right, next, mittens or gloves. Now this one has to have context, because if I am just, say I'm going for a walk, I love mittens. Nice fuzzy mittens, because then my fingers all stay together and I stay good and warm. If I need to do something, whether it's, I can probably get away driving with mittens, but if I need to do anything where I need to use my hands outside, I need gloves, because otherwise I just feel kind of like clunky or clumsy. So it depends on the situation is my official answer on that one. You can tell I'm going to fail the whole this or that thing. All right, next, socks or sweaters. This one's easy for me. I would say sweaters. I love a good fuzzy sock. Do not get me wrong. In the middle of winter, fuzzy socks are lovely, but I'll go barefoot most of the time rather than wearing socks. But a good sweater, they're especially nice, good, comfy, fuzzy-ish sweater, that is just my favorite. So I would most definitely say sweater over socks. All right, unwrapping gifts on Christmas Eve or Christmas morning? Christmas morning for us. I don't think I ever unwrapped gifts on Christmas Eve. Not unless we were, say, visiting family. I mean, generally, we would have family over on Christmas Eve. And so, for example, one of my brothers, his wife, his stepchild, we would obviously give the gift then, and then she'd open it then. But for the most part, we all do it with the kids, our kids, Christmas morning. And what's so funny is that I need to look at my pattern for 1 second, because I don't know where I am at the moment. Okay, so that's gonna go 1, 2, 3 down, and then it has to go 1, 2, 2, 3, 5 over. Connor is and has always been my most especially late sleeper. I mean, Megan has, you know, she's certainly, as she got older, she can sleep, but not like her brother. Her brother could, he was always a late sleeper. He was definitely the more of my night owl of the two, which I am an early bird, so that was completely different for me. But every morning it was always a struggle to get him up. You know, that's why summer was so nice unless he had a camp or something, because then he could sleep and we wouldn't worry about it so much. Getting him up for school was a nightmare. But Christmas morning, it never failed. 5 a.m. And I am telling you, almost on faithfully, he would be up looking to open up presents. And I mean, and I'm not saying just when he was 5 or 6 or 7. Throughout his teen years when he really didn't want to get up in the morning, up to even, I would say last year, I think he was up really, really early. Maybe not 5 a.m., but really early for him. So I kind of chuckle about that. And when they were both in high school, Megan she would complain because it's like, we're getting up too early. And say, well, get up and open the presents and then, you can chill and relax or whatever. So very often we went to Christmas Eve Mass. So Christmas morning, we could kind of be a little bit more lazy about it. So Christmas morning was really always our time for opening up gifts. All right, Christmas or New Year's, which do you prefer? Christmas. I love everything about Christmas, just all the spirit and all the fun feelings and so on, and the decorating and this and then that. New Year's for me, well, now, good luck if I'm up at New Year's. Odds are I could be asleep by then. I'm not taking bets that this year I will be up at New Year's. And I always worried about, like, now when once the kids went out, if they were going anywhere, doing anything, because it can be dangerous driving on New Year's. And don't forget, I grew up in New England and we lived there for a long time. The weather was not always great on New Year's Eve, so that was always a factor. So I enjoy the idea of starting a new year, but New Year's and New Year's Eve, not really my thing. All right. Snoop for presents or be surprised. I am a be surprised sort of person. I don't need to look around and see and look and whatever. It's funny because I don't mind like spoilers for books or movies and stuff. And I don't mind spoilers in general, but I don't go looking for it. Do you know what I mean? So I don't mind being surprised. Gift wrap or gift bags? Well, gift wrap is really pretty. Gift bags are easier. So it kind of depends on what I'm going for. And I am not the world's best wrapper, I'll be honest with you. I like it, and I don't mind doing it, actually. I enjoy it, but it never looks as pretty as other ones. And at the time, now there's less to wrap. The kids maybe want one big thing or something or other. But when the kids were little, Santa would bring their main gift, whatever they wanted or asked Santa for, and they were good. Then, they'd get a gift from Santa. And then, they also get gifts from us as parents, smaller and, a little bit varied, but, they also got some for us. And when they were little, obviously, the wrapping didn't have to be super pretty because it wasn't going to last very long. Give me those little bows that you usually have to add a little tape because the bows never seem to stick on their own. And, the to from little tags and nothing super pretty with, curly ribbon and all that stuff. But I do like wrapping, I have to say. But in the interest of ease and use, I would say gift bags. And if we would get a gift bag, then you can also reuse it. So that's always nice too, because you can continue to use them. And sometimes I would just make my own tag for it because obviously the tag would be used. So I would say depends on the situation. That's how I'm answering that one. Homemade gifts or store-bought gifts? Well, that one's a no-brainer. I like homemade gifts, but it's a very few people that I would make them for because most people really don't understand or appreciate the amount of time or effort that you would take to make homemade gifts. So, well, I like doing that kind of thing. Very often it would just be store-bought gifts. When the kids were little, actually, what we liked to do was we would make the grandparents' calendars, and we would take pictures from all throughout the year, and we would put a whole bunch on the main picture, and then on different days within the calendar we would do that too. So that was a lot of fun. So it was made by us, but then, printed and stuff. I always thought that was fun. And it took a lot of time, though. It was a lot of work. I will say, going through all those and trying to figure out pictures and everything. All right, finish shopping early or finish shopping last minute. I would say more last minute than early. Like, I am not a shop months ahead of time kind of person. I was so impressed back when I had my Etsy store. I had paper products that I sold on Etsy, and cards and tags and place cards and all sorts of things. And I was always so impressed when I would get a Christmas order in, say, September or October, beginning of October. I was always like, whoa, you guys are on top of things. I mean, I would have the listings there and ready to go, but I wasn't thinking of it for myself. And, at this point, the kids, for example, are older. So what they want for Christmas, they pretty much, like, I don't try to decide for them anymore. And Megan has asked, for example, she's graduating this year, and I believe she'd like to go to law school next year, hopefully, if she gets in. And she's had her laptop now throughout college, and so she asked for a new laptop for Christmas. So, I mean, that's something that she has to be involved with anyway. And then Connor has actually made a list. I think he was bored one day at school, and he sent us a whole bunch of texts with pictures of things he wants. Have I bought them yet? No, and I don't even really have any excuses, right? I was just saying to Mo, I need to start getting some of what's on Connor's list, because otherwise there will be nothing there for Christmas. And again, like with Megan, I think we'll need to wait and know what she'll need for school and that kind of stuff before we just buy something. So I would say normally, though, I am a not the night before. I remember as a kid working retail, and you'd be funny on Christmas Eve, people out shopping. I'm not quite like that, but much more closer to Christmas than way ahead. Indoor Christmas lights or outdoor Christmas lights? My question there is, why can't you have both, right? I mean, we don't do a ton, but we have some outdoor Christmas lights, and and then we've always just kind of done maybe like a spotlight or something with a wreath, and then a small little couple, some strings of lights, and that's about it. And then inside, I don't necessarily string lights on the inside, but I think of the Christmas tree lights as lights on the inside, type of thing. And there's nothing more than my favorite thing is sitting at night when the house is dark and having the Christmas tree lights on, and it's just so pretty, and the glow of the lights is just so relaxing. So I'm going kind of with both, but I'm not stringing the whole inside of my house with lights, just more Christmassy tree lights is what I'd say with that one. Alrighty, eggnog or hot chocolate? Hot chocolate, if I were to go with that one. And I know I can get vegan eggnogs, but I think eggnog is I find it a little bit too sweet for me nowadays. I don't know in the past what I would have said, but I would say now much more of a hot chocolate sort of person. Excuse me. Cozy sweaters or pajamas? Well, we've already talked about my love of cozy sweaters. If I've got kind of fuzzy pajamas, though, that one's a tough one. I'm not sure I have an answer for that. It depends on the time of day. I very rarely can I stay all day in my pajamas, even if I know I'm not going to leave the house. Say it's in the middle of a snowstorm, I can't leave, it's cold and whatever, I still have to get dressed for the day. I can't stay in my pajamas all day. So if it's in the morning, or I will, especially in the winter when it gets dark earlier, I might put my pajamas on earlier than I would in the summer. So again, it depends on the time of day. Otherwise, give me a good cozy sweater. This one, I saw this one, and I don't think I can answer this one. I want to know what your thoughts are. Rudolph or Frosty? I really don't. I don't think I can decide between Rudolph and Frosty. I remember watching both as a kid. I remember watching them with my children. I would watch them now, to be quite honest with you, and have them on in the background because they're just cute. Maybe Rudolph. Maybe. I like Silver and Gold. I like that song. So that might just give it the slight edge. But other than that, I can't decide. They're just too cute, both of them. Wreaths or stockings? Wreaths. I prefer wreaths in the sense of I never had really a good way to hang up stockings. We do have a fireplace, and we've had fireplaces, but I never really had like because I wasn't going to put anything into the fireplace hole wise, but I mean, I could have had those hangers, and I just never really thought about it. We just always, when the stockings got filled on Christmas Eve, we always just had them more so on the ground than hanging. A good wreath, though. A good wreath is pretty. Alrighty. I don't know how to make, well, I could learn, but I don't make my own wreaths. But there are some pretty ones out there. Next, Santa hats or reindeer antler headbands. I'm all for a good Santa hat. Maybe as we get closer to the holidays, I'll break one out. Ugly sweater party or Christmas cocktail party? Ugly sweater party. Have you seen the sweaters I wear every Friday as we lead up to Christmas? I am all over that. And quite frankly, I kind of like, I'm not a very sophisticated person. So a good fancy hot cocktail party, I would be totally out of place. Give me a good ugly sweater party instead. Gift cards or cash? If I knew somebody really well and I knew what they would like for a gift card, then I would definitely do gift card. Sometimes you just don't know, and I don't want to get somebody something that they're going to struggle to use. So then it might be cash. It kind of depends on the person and whether or not I know them. Gingerbread houses or gingerbread men? Well, we used to do both, although we cheated. We would make gingerbread men traditionally for Christmas, but gingerbread houses, you know what we used to do? I would say as early as, I don't even know, did we do them last year? I don't even remember. We would buy a whole bunch of graham crackers, give the kids graham crackers, frosting, and all sorts of candies, and let them go have at it. And they could build their house any way they wanted, single story, double story, with little steeples or whatever. And that was a lot of fun to see them do that. So it's not a traditional gingerbread house, but it's kind of along those lines. Peppermint or gingerbread? Well, I think we've established peppermint. I do like gingerbread cookies, but I have a peppermint flavored cookie that I actually prefer. So I'm going with the peppermint. Candy canes or chocolates? Oof. Even though I love candy cane, peppermint, I think chocolate might be the winner on that one. Ice skating or snowball fights? I would go with the snowball fights just because I have zero grace and balance. So I would most likely fall. Ice skating, I haven't been ice skating in years. I have obviously been, well, I guess I shouldn't say obviously, right? But I mean, I lived for years and years in a place where cold and snow and ice were always around. So yeah, we'd go ice skating. But I would say snowball fights, those you can have anywhere, anytime with anybody, and it's just a lot of fun. Well, as long as you have snow, right? And, you know, the kids would sometimes build the forts and the whole bit and then really get into it. All right, Secret Santa or White Elephant Exchange? That's a good one. I don't know about that one. I'm not sure on that. I don't know if I have a preference. I think they both can be a lot of fun. There's obviously more pressure on the Secret Santa in the sense of you want to get just the right thing for the person you've got versus the White Elephant. You could just go kind of crazy and fun. And that can be a lot of fun when then you can do like somebody can steal your stuff kind of thing. So maybe I'm talking myself into the White Elephant. And then finally, the last one on the list is shop in-store or shop online. I am right now all over the online shopping. I do remember, though, when the kids were little, my mom and I would get up at 5 a.m. on the day after Thanksgiving, and we would get up and go to the mall and go all those things. It was a ritual. And then even when Megan got older, she joined us, which was kind of fun. So I always did, and I do love the stores this time of year with the music and the decorations, and it's just so fun and festive. But I do like shopping online. I like just being able to compare and find in a couple different places something and decide, and just the ease of it now, right? I mean, back when my kids were, say, 2 and 4, you really didn't do as much online shopping, whereas nowadays it's just, the thing you do. So that is my list. I came to the end of my list of questions. I printed them off really big font because I really needed to be able to see them. So I hope you enjoyed that little bit of this and that. I have got one more X here to make, so I'm going to make that, and then I will finish off the thread. And look at that. I threaded just the right amount of needles for this. I hope you are having a wonderful December, no matter what holiday you do or do not celebrate, and whatever is a part of your life when it comes to the season. And I hope if you are a stitcher and enjoying all of this extra content, I've really been enjoying it. I like seeing everybody's different Flossmases and how they are approaching it and what they're doing and how they're doing it. So that's been a lot of fun too, because everybody's a little bit different, and that makes it a lot of fun. At least the people I'm watching, everybody seems to do things or have things that are a little bit different. So let me just snip this off. One day I had forgotten to do one of my threads, and I was stitching with, I started stitching, and then I had everything all knotted up in the back because I couldn't figure out what I had done because there was the extra thread. So all I did, I worked on this today, because this way I could look from a distance at what I was stitching on and I could see it. And that is this big element right here. I thought that would be a fun thing to focus on. And I didn't have to really count because I already had the outer outline. So this way I could just follow it with the inner outline and really just concentrate on my this or that's for Christmas. So that's it. That is the Flossmas video for today. Today is Wednesday, so I'm thinking at this point, unless I have some sort of grand idea tomorrow, you probably won't see me with another video until my Friday regular video. And if you're watching this at some other point in the season, hopefully it finds you with a little bit of extra time. Maybe the Christmas tree lights are on, or whatever lights you happen to use for your holiday. And maybe there's just a beautiful candle glow, or maybe some scent in your house, and you're just getting the whole holiday spirit, and we can just stitch together. So until next time, happy stitching.